Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources.
Washington Post World, September 9, 1241 America, New York. Authorities rescue 82 people after ferry collision in India. Authorities working overnight rescued 82 people after two passenger ferries collided in a river in northeastern India. Washington Post World, September 9, 1238 America, New York. Your call was important to Glen Palaje. It may have cost him his life. Call center workers in the Philippines helped American customers during the pandemic, sometimes at risk to their own health and safety. Washington Post World, September 9, 1201 America, New York. The world 9/11 created. What if the U.S. had not invaded Iraq? The decision to oust Saddam Hussein, even more so than the invasion of Afghanistan in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, was an unprovoked war of choice that sealed off a range of other policy options available to Washington's strategists and set in motion events that fundamentally altered the region.
PowerPost, September 9, 719 America, New York. The Cybersecurity 202. More secure election machines won't be widely used until 2026. Meanwhile, baseless election fraud claims keep mounting.
RT World News, September 9, 717 America, New York. Italian police warn of armed attacks by anti-vaxxers at protests, 8 people under investigation. Italian police have said that anti-vaxxers had planned to launch armed attacks during protests against the government scheduled for this weekend in Rome. 8 people are under investigation for incitement to crime. Washington Post World, September 9, 716 America, New York. Westerners to board first commercial flight from Kabul. Qatari officials say Afghanistan's Taliban authorities will allow between 100 and 150 Americans to fly out from Kabul in the coming hours. Washington Post World, September 9, 714 America, New York. France pays national tribute to new wave actor Belmondo. France is paying respects to screen legend Jean-Paul Belmondo with a solemn ceremony led by the president and a public viewing at Napoleon's final resting place.
September 9, 704 America, New York. 2013 Voting Rights Act ruling could make it easier for states to get away with extreme racial gerrymandering. The 2013 Supreme Court ruling that gutted the Voting Rights Act still finds new ways to scramble the Justice Department's enforcement of the landmark 1965 law.
New York Times World News, September 9, 703 America, New York. France to offer free contraception for women up to 25. The government, responding to what it said was a decline in the use of contraceptives among some young women because of the cost, will pay for contraception starting next year. The government said it would set aside about €21 million, or about $25 million, to pay for contraceptives and consultations on their use.
Time, September 9, 7 o'clock America, New York. COVAX was a great idea, but is now 500 million doses short of its vaccine distribution goals. What exactly went wrong? In January 2020, world leaders and industry titans gathered in Switzerland for the World Economic Forum's annual Davos conference. Much of the conversation centered around the mysterious new coronavirus that had emerged in Wuhan, China, a month earlier, and had at that point infected nearly 300 people in 4 countries. Time, September 9, 7 o'clock America, New York. Steve Buscemi. Everyone said, never forget, 9/11. Some have no choice. My dad was a sanitation worker for New York City. His message to me and my brothers was, when you turn 18, take whatever civil service test is available. Lucky for me, it was the fire department's.
Washington Post World, September 9, 658 America, New York. Theater kid turned militant stars in Israeli prison break. For nearly 2 decades, Israelis and Palestinians have watched Zakaria Zubidi's progression from a child actor to a swaggering militant, to the scarred face of a West Bank theater promoting cultural resistance to Israeli occupation.
September 9, 656 America, New York. Melania Trump's closest White House advisor to release book. Stephanie Grisham, whose career with the Trump administration included stints as East Wing Communications Director, White House Press Secretary and Chief of Staff to Melania Trump, has written a book that will be released next month, two people familiar with the project tell CNN. September 9. 6:56 America New York, "This ain't it," CNN commentator reacts to Trump's controversial comments. CNN political commentator Scott Jennings criticizes former President Trump after he released a statement which said Confederate General Robert E. Lee would have won in Afghanistan if he was in command.
Mirror World News. September 9. 6:54 America New York, "Starving dad, forced to sell daughter in Afghanistan to support rest of family." The man, identified as Mir Nazir, 38, said he would prefer to die than flog his child, but claimed he has been left with little choice since the Taliban takeover.
September 9. 6:45 America New York, Burger King copies McDonald's with celebrity meals. Burger King's menu is getting a big makeover and its customers might not even notice. That's why Burger King is hiring celebrities to promote the changes.
RT World News. September 9. 6:42 America New York. Taliban accuses U.S. of violating Doha peace agreement by having new minister on FBI wanted list. The Taliban has accused Washington of reneging on the 2020 Doha agreement, which brought peace between the U.S. and the group, as a newly appointed Afghan minister finds himself on an FBI wanted list.
PowerPost. September 9. 6:42 America New York, Power Up. Democrats and lobbyists spar over tax increases in $3.5 trillion budget package. Lobbyists and special interest groups are making their case against tax increases as Democrats debate an array of tax proposals in Biden's ambitious social spending bill.
September 9. 6:32 America New York, "These Afghans represent what Taliban fear most, empowered women." Hear their stories. CNN's Becky Anderson zooms in on the stories of three at-risk Afghan women currently hosted in the UAE, an athlete, an aspiring scientist and an artist. They represent the dreams of an entire generation facing an unknown future both at home or abroad.
World CBS News, com. September 9. 6:30 America New York, appalled, WHO chief slams rich nations over COVID booster plans. "I will not stay silent when the companies and countries that control the global supply of vaccines think the world's poor should be satisfied with leftovers," said the WHO Director General.